Welcome to a special edition of Phil's First Party Parlay, where we talk all things timely and topical in the insurance restoration industry. I'm Phil Sanoff, trial lawyer with Morgan & Morgan's Insurance Recovery Group. With Morgan & Morgan's Insurance Recovery Group, I have 55 of the most awesome attorney colleagues you would ever want to know. We are in 25 offices, 13 states, all around the country. If you have any problem with any insurance claim, you need to come see us. We can help you wherever you are. You can reach us through our website, forthepeople.com. Hit pound LAW from any cell phone, anywhere, or just get me on my personal cell, 713-825-3444. Morgan & Morgan Insurance Recovery Group. Come see us. Joining me on this special edition of the Parlay is my friend and colleague, Fred "Ricky" Pye. Fred, hit that magic button. Come back to see us, friend.
Hey, Phil, how are you?
Hey, brother, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for taking this time to make yourself available for this special edition. We typically do this after hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had some technical difficulties, you and I, when we tried to do it. So now we're back together for this special edition to record the content. I'm grateful for you making your schedule work.
And I thank you for having me, Phil.
You bet. You bet. Let me introduce you a little bit, Ricky. One of the things that I need folks to know that is so helpful for you is for several years, you represented insurance companies at the defense firms, helping the insurance companies when folks, the type of which we represent now, would file insurance claims. So you bring such a wealth of knowledge to help our current clients because you know what insurance companies think are important or not. You know how to frame the cases to push their pain points to make sure we get the information we need to best help policyholders. And so I'm grateful to you. You might want to talk about that a little bit as we go on how that helps you prosecute cases for the policyholders, all that information you learned representing insurance companies for those years.
Yeah, of course. I think it definitely gives me a certain perspective, and it really helps in terms of what documentation my clients need to gather and what's important, because policyholders and homeowners may not know how important these specific documents really are. And also I have a little bit of perspective regarding what an insurance adjuster may look for when they're valuing a claim.
So helpful to have that experience background to help our folks now. We had you on the show before, so you know this piece. We talked about the blasting cases specifically and only when you were here before, but that experience, you know that I'm a trial lawyer. I believe in the magic of three, the power of three. So we're going to talk about three more points as they apply to all the additional cases that you help with. I'm so grateful for your work ethic. I'm so grateful for your ability to just get in and grind and get everything done. We're going to talk about all those other cases. There was so much to highlight about blasting. We'll take bite-sized chunks of all the other cases that you're so good with, and then we'll see if we have to bring you back yet another time to talk in full about those others. So let's highlight for folks what are going to be the 3 points that we then fill in as we go along here today.
Yeah, of course. Like you mentioned, Phil, I do handle all different types of claims. I did come on the show to talk about blasting, but I also have experience handling hurricane claims, cast iron pipe claims, and what I term as simple water loss claims. And what I mean by simple water loss is, for example, maybe a supply line burst or an AC leak. So today I figured I'd give some tips from a homeowner's perspective on how they need to properly handle their claim when coming to an insurance company with that claim. And the 3 topics that I'm going to be addressing are document, report and comply, and when it's time to contact a professional.
Perfect. And we're going to talk about each broad topic, those 3 topic areas, and then how they apply to each of the different cases that you work on in addition to the blasting?
Correct.
Great, 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 great. Well, I'll save my comments about simple water loss. I know that's a term that we have to use, but you and I also need to let folks know we know that nothing is really simple. But
Correct. Yes.
classic,
When I say simple, I'm just differentiating between the cast iron pipe type water loss and maybe a supply line on your sink. But that's very correct. Nothing is so simple when you're dealing with insurance claims.
just because it's not complicated doesn't mean it's easy. That's what I always tell people. It may not be terribly complicated. That doesn't mean it's easy. Okay, well, let's stay on track here. I am, again, so grateful to have these points. Tell us the first point, and then we'll go through claim by claim, case type by case type, and fill in on each one how you handle that. So I believe you said the first one was document.
Correct. So we're going to talk about first document connected to a hurricane claim. So in a hurricane claim, I view it in two facets: pre-storm and post-storm. So documenting pre-storm, we're in hurricane season now, okay? We've already got the tropics heating up. So now is the time to really begin this documentation process, okay? It'd be very helpful as a homeowner to start taking some photographs of the interior and also the exterior of your property, mainly the roof of your property. Now,
so important.
Yes, very. So when you are taking these photographs, it's important to make sure to give some perspective. Okay, so what I mean by that is if I'm going to document the condition of my master bedroom prior to a storm, I want to go to the hallway and take a photograph of an overview, using either your phone or a camera, of an overview of the master bedroom before walking in, and then taking a couple photographs of the walls and the ceiling just to show the condition of your property prior to any major catastrophic storm. Do so throughout the rest of the property as well. If feasible, it would be great to have some photographs or video of the condition of your roof prior to a storm as well. Next, in terms of documentation,
Could I back up? I want to just make sure I fill in something, because this is something that I did when right before I lost my house to Hurricane Harvey here in Houston, and it was crazy, crazy helpful. And so what I encourage people to do is, you talked about taking the overview of the room. When they take the overview from just outside the room, then you walk in, you can stand about in the middle of the room. Best of all, take your cell phone. It's easy to do. Take a picture of the floor, take a picture of the ceiling, then a picture of each wall. You just turn and turn to get the pictures, and then go to the next room and get that same perspective for each room. A picture of the ceiling, a picture of the floor, a picture of each wall. And while you're doing that, you'll get a picture of the stuff in there. And the reason that I say ceiling is that then when there are roof leaks, if you don't get good pictures of the roof, you'll see that there may be water stains and whatever. If, like Hurricane Harvey, I lost my house to the flood, it was because the water was coming up from the ground. That's a different type of case that we might handle, but it's important to have those types of pictures throughout the house before the storm hits.
Definitely.
Got it. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had that perspective of a good way to document everything in the house prior to a storm claim.
Of course, and it's so important. I'm so glad that you went on and emphasized that point, because it really is going to be very helpful if there is a major catastrophe that occurs. Obviously, we hope it doesn't, but if it does, we need to be prepared to protect our houses. The second point on pre-hurricane documentation is to obtain a copy of your policy. I can't tell you how many people I speak to who don't actually have a full copy of their actual policy. This is the contract that is going to govern the actions and outcome of your claim. So it's very, very important that you obtain a copy of your policy.
It just has to be time for me for my renewal. This came in the mail yesterday. I saved it for our show because I know this is the policy. And so while we also want electronically so that you've got it both ways to be able to send it to someone, if nothing else, make sure you've got your full policy paper with you to keep dry during the time.
Of course, yes. And the next thing is to, once you have a copy of your policy, or if you don't, contact your agent and just make sure to review your coverages. You want to review your coverages prior to any catastrophic storm or issue. You don't want to find out after that you have a very high deductible, or maybe you are undercovered for your patios, awnings, sheds, things like that. That also becomes a major issue after a storm has occurred, and you want to know before the storm, not after the storm. So moving on, in terms of documentation for hurricane claims, we're going to move to post-claim. Okay? So following the storm, you know, we're all frazzled, but we need to keep calm and take, again, photographs and videos of any damage. Once again, and as Phil described and emphasized, you know, go into the room, make sure you document the leaks, you know, any issues you may have, down trees, branches, go into your yard and try to see if there are any shingles or clay tile shingles from your roof that may have come off. Document as much as possible the condition of the property immediately following the storm. Evidence over time, you know, as time passes, becomes less reliable. So we want to get that documented as soon as possible after the storm, okay? And if anybody comes to the house, roofers, things of that nature, keep any documentation that they provide you. And also keep your insurance claim documents. A lot of people receive mail, they look at it, they throw it out. We want to keep those documents. Those documents are very important. And the last thing I'll mention, and this is for any claim, is to keep a little log, you know, take notes. The people that come out, the field adjuster from the insurance company, the people that you speak to, that can also be very helpful in handling your insurance claim as a homeowner.
There's a notes pad on every phone, or whatever type you've got, whatever operating system, there'll be some sort of notes function. You open up a note for storm damage or claim damage, whatever the claim is. And every time you talk to someone, you write it down. Every time somebody tells you something, you make a phone call and don't get a return call, you write it down. You've always got to document every step of the way.
Yeah, someday, you know, Phil and I may be telling your story to a jury and you are creating the first draft for us. So it'll be very helpful to us on that day. Next, we're going to move on to cast iron pipe claims and documentation. There is no pre to this one, just post. So if you do have some type of overflow or backup event to, let's say, a toilet or a shower, a tub, or some type of plumbing appliance, you do want to make sure to document that. Photograph, video, just like we spoke about regarding the hurricane loss. And very similarly, make sure that if you put in a claim to keep those claim documents. And if you do have a plumber come to the property and they scope the lines or snake the lines, go ahead and request that they provide you a copy of the video of the scope. A lot of the times these plumbers may delete that afterwards, and it's very helpful, you know, in proving your claim if you do have that information. I'll talk about water loss in terms of maybe a burst supply line. If you do have a plumber come out to the property and they replace the appliance, make sure to hold on to that appliance. I've spoken to some people before and the appliance gets thrown out, and that is crucial evidence when it comes to a burst supply line or something like that. You're going to want to hold on to that and document that as well. take photographs and videos of the water loss at the time of the loss. Now we can move on to topic number 2.
All right.
Which is report and comply. Okay. Under your insurance policy, you have certain duties that you need to comply with. Okay. Now, the first duty that you have under an insurance policy is to report the claim promptly. Now, there is no definition of that. What I would say is as soon as feasibly possible.
Right.
Okay. So in regards to a hurricane claim, you're going to want to, wake up the next day and or even during the storm, document your damage, but immediately report that damage to the insurance company as soon as you possibly can.
Sure.
The second thing in terms of complying under the insurance policy is to mitigate your damages. Okay, so regarding a hurricane claim, you're going to want to get a tarp on the roof if possible, and you're going to want to clean up any debris or things like that after you have documented already, after you've already followed step number 1. Regarding a cast iron pipe or a water loss, you're going to want to report as soon as possible and clean up as best you can the water. Don't let it sit and affect your drywall or your baseboards, because you do have a duty to mitigate your damages and you don't want the insurance company attempting to use that against you. Same for a water loss. You're going to want to go ahead, report as soon as possible, and go ahead and attempt to clean up to mitigate your damages. Now, the other duties under your policy, okay, there are things like the insurance company requesting documents or a recorded statement or what's called an examination under oath. These things may make you feel uneasy or uncomfortable or overwhelmed. And at that point, it may be best to move forward to our third topic.
Keep on trucking into point number 3.
And our third topic is when it's time to contact a professional, such as the first party insurance litigation group at Morgan & Morgan. When the insurance company is requesting an examination under oath or a recorded statement and you feel overwhelmed, you may need to speak to somebody who can explain the process to you and get you feeling nice and comfortable, and also to obtain all that documentation that you made sure to gather early on in the process, and then we'll package it and make sure we present it to the insurance company using the knowledge that we do have. So one of the other things about why you want to contact a professional is because Phil held up that packet earlier, that policy, right, Phil? And that policy,
here we go,
can sometimes be as big as 60 pages approximately, and it contains all different types of language: coverage language, exclusionary language, conditionary language, and sometimes there's endorsements that change and alter all the language that we just discussed. So you're going to want a professional to get in there and to move through that document and to make the process a little bit easier for you.
Well, one thing I always tell people too, Ricky, is that there is no doubt, let there be no doubt at all, that the insurance company has a whole row stacked up of professionals working in the corporation's, the company's best interest, to do all they can to support the insurance company as they are in the process of a claim against you. Why in the world would you, as a homeowner, as a business owner, put yourself in that position that I'm going to go against all these trained insurance professionals? I'm going to go against the lawyers they've already got working behind the scenes for them, with the contractors, the adjusters. They've got this whole row stacked up professionals, but I'm a tough homeowner and I can do it on my own. God bless you. I hope and wish that you could, but that's what we do for a living. Let us be trained professionals helping you.
Correct. Yeah, it may be time to call in that plumber or that engineer to get onto your roof to determine whether or not you have storm damage, or it may be time to get that general contractor out there to establish, if the payment made by the insurance company was an underpayment. So Phil oftentimes brings up these three. If the insurance company is delaying, underpaying, or unfairly denying your claim, it is also a time to move on and contact a professional such as the first party insurance litigation group at Morgan & Morgan.
Every good result I ever got for a policyholder started with the insurance company saying no, paying too low, or playing too slow. Got my three. You know how I love the magic of three. That's going to start happening to you. You need to come see us.
Exactly. So that's the last topic, and it applies across the board to all types of insurance claims, including the three that we've been discussing thoroughly throughout this first party parlay: hurricane claims, cast iron pipe claims, and also water loss claims.
Now, Ricky, one thing that we didn't touch on yet is there are going to be folks that see when we play this special edition of Phil's First Party Parlay, there is no doubt going to be folks that say, I need to get in touch with that guy. I want that guy to help me with my water loss. He thinks it's so simple. Let's get him to see what he thinks. How can folks get in touch with you if they've got questions, whether they hire you or not? I know you're willing to talk to them. How do folks get in touch with you about their insurance claim?
Of course, whether you hire me or not, I'm always willing to discuss an insurance claim, review a policy, review photographs in a situation. And you can reach me at my email, F as in Fred, Pye at forthepeople.com, or on my direct office line, 305-929-1907.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Ricky. I call you Ricky. Your name is Frederick. The way that we distinguished you, I don't want people seeing this, wanting to know why I call you Ricky. People that know you and love you call you Ricky. Your name is Frederick. That's why we have the Fred Pye as part of your email address when they see that back and forth. Let's just make sure we clear that up so people don't wonder what the heck is going on when they see your email coming back and forth.
Of course. So my legal name is Frederick, and if you look me up on our website, you'll see Frederick Pye. But once you become a client of mine, if you become a client of mine and you become a friend of mine, you can go ahead and call me Ricky, my nickname.
We're all going to be calling you Ricky at that point. That's right. Well, Ricky, I'm grateful to you again for making this time for the special edition, sharing this knowledge, giving everything, all the information that we can to all these folks. Anything else, I'm going to send us home from this special edition presented by Morgan & Morgan Insurance Recovery Group. But before I do, just want to give you one last opportunity, of course, if there's anything else you need to make sure that folks know.
No, just remember, document, report, and comply. And at one point, it may be time to contact a professional and go ahead and give me a call.
All right. Fantastic. Well, Ricky, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to take us home now. Thank you all for watching this episode, special edition of Phil's First Party Parlay, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan Insurance Recovery Group. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Phil.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Bye-bye.